The Peyronie family. I'm Elizabeth Peyronie.
I'm Francis Peyronie.
And we're the parents of B. B is our youngest.
My name's B. I'm 17 years old. I identify as a demigirl, so I use she, they pronouns. And I have Ivemark syndrome. I grew up sharing a room with my sister, and eventually is my dog.
There's 6 of us, 6 children.
We have a few family sayings, and one of them is, don't complain about it unless you're willing to stand up and do something. So they do. Forget days of our lives, you've got the Peyronies.
Ivemark syndrome basically means you have kidney problems, heart problems, your organs are all muddled, some might be missing, some could be upside down, some could be too big, too small. I have polysplenia, so I have 7 spleens. They're scattered all over my body, connected to different organs, and we're not sure which ones are working and which aren't.
Her stomach is midline central. That doesn't work quite so well. And the liver was extra big. You've got the kidneys almost in the right place, but one is a floater that changes position. You've got the gallbladder, which is in the right place, but it's upside down. The esophagus and various things that are coming down from there, they're back to front. Spleens, well, you're supposed to have 1. She's got 7. They're all different shapes and sizes and attached to different organs. When you have multiple organs in different spaces, it changes the way in which those organs function. B also has allergies, hypertension, an auditory processing disorder, a malrotated bowel, eczema, affecting memory, fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. And so for us, it's a case of management of the symptoms. Okay. This is your list today, things that we are doing. You're going to be helping with decorating the cakes.
What cakes?
For tomorrow, CCSDA.
Right.
Because B's memory is affected, I'm still teaching B about the processes B needs to be doing. What about your meds? Have you had them?
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember the iron?
No, because I haven't had anything to drink or eat yet.
Having an invisible disability, that's hard. B sometimes needs to use the disabled toilets, but he's not in a wheelchair. So we get challenged about using the disabled facilities.
It sucks having to either tell people or show people your disability. It just makes us incredibly uncomfortable. I had to tell a lady I had a colostomy and kind of peek my shirt up a bit so she could see it. I hated that.
Have you got?
My colostomy gear, I got my EpiPen.
EpiPen, okay. Hearing aid container batteries, do they?
I have hearing aids. They help when I'm in a very noisy environment because when someone is talking to me, it just blends in with all the noise and I can't hear them. Hearing aids allow me to separate those two things.
Sometimes it gets hard because B's day is made up of do's and don'ts and medication. For instance, most people assume that the inhalers are for asthma only. So if you have 2 different kinds of inhalers, there's a discussion with people about why it is necessary for B to have both. And I have to explain that one is for asthma and one has to be taken with water because it coats the esophagus to treat an allergy. So it's always a journey and we're always learning.
Got to do it 2 times.
Yes. Hold. And release.
I know how to take inhalers. I've been doing it my whole life.
I know. I'm just reminding you.
I guess I can't have that much control over my life. Whether I can go out, joining school, getting a job, being independent, I can't control those things. I don't like drinking too much before I have to go out.
True.
The things I have control over are clothes, my room, and my own opinion. I ended up having to drop out of school because my disabilities won't allow me to carry on. I couldn't get a job and couldn't be fully independent.
taking B to an op shop, buying clothes, upcycling them. It's something we just enjoy doing together.
I do really like it because it's less waste and I get to reuse things. It's just better for the planet. I'm still new to it, so yeah, I'm not that great yet. I've really liked dressing this way for years. I just kept it to myself, and I can finally actually dress this way. I guess it's kind of part of the alt community, which is alternative style.
This one.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but
nice.
I don't actually like pencil skirts.
Oh,
They don't suit me.
no?
I don't really dig it.
Okay.
Oh, dude, these.
What about this one? It's got a wide waist on it. I was concerned because I would talk to B and B never seemed to understand what was going on. Self-control. The doctor arranged for B to have a hearing test at the hospital. She said, this isn't a hearing loss. She said it's an auditory processing disorder, and that means that the brain and the ears don't link properly. There's some kind of broken connection. Are they anything you're interested in?
No. Plus, it would just be difficult to sew up and stuff.
Okay.
Because my auditory processing disorder doesn't allow me to follow conversations too well or really understand the meaning of some questions. So she just explains it to me.
No, it's good.
She helps me when it comes to shopping and understanding some things.
So cute.
She's very loving and supportive.
Oh, that's what you use?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's windy. We could do a layered frill to go underneath your skirts. So we'll sew that up later.
Okay.
What about this one? What did you want to do with it?
I want to cinch it in, maybe. It'll probably be on this side.
Did you want it shortened?
No.
Good. Confidence comes from success. So learning a new skill and really enjoying the result, that's a big boost of confidence. That's encouraging B to learn more. If we do it down there, you've got the zip there as well.
So that's what I was thinking here.
If there is a problem with understanding people or communication in any way, it can erode your confidence quite quickly. So B has to learn how to face new situations with confidence. Down to here. So if I hold it here and back.
I really do wish I could just go out with family and friends and hang out with them and not have to leave like half an hour early or hours early even because I'm just too tired. I also wish I could just go on walks and stuff without wanting to pass out. And chronic fatigue did have a large part in me not being able to go to school or get a job. It does mean communication is difficult. And we hide the dart within there.
Where?
It also means learning is difficult because people have to constantly re-explain things to me in different ways, and sometimes I lose track or something. That's it. For so many years, we didn't know, but there was no way to filter out everything. There was no off switch for B. I made her go to school, thinking that to be an overcomer meant getting out there and persisting, regardless. It's okay. B had to keep going into environments which weren't friendly to her particular issues. That's it.
Oh, right, I forgot it was.
All it really did was teach anxiety, and I have to wear that. But you do your best with what you have. If I sometimes come across as the mama bear, that's because I have to. So that's life. That's where we're at. B has limited vocabulary, so B expresses her life through her art, in particular her drawings. I started art just
for fun. It lets me express myself in many different ways. It also lets me tell a story that only I can see in the art. I also get to put all my emotions and personality into characters. This is Ivy. She represents the disabilities I have. She's a very introverted, quiet character that she kind of keeps to herself, really. She likes being alone and relaxing a lot. I also draw hearing aids on her sometimes. She also has a colostomy bag. Growing up, I assumed everyone had disabilities. I assumed everyone went to the doctors and the hospitals. I thought it was a normal thing, so I didn't see myself as different from other kids. I'm fine with it, but it can also be troubling. I make sure to show my disabilities when I'm drawing. I make sure to show that I have pride in it and that it's okay to be that way.
Okay, and put that on the table. Don't worry about it. Growing up, having everything so different inside and affecting the way that Bea lived, Bea often felt quite broken. With a disability, life is often about management, and that means learning the language, learning the umbrella terms, being able to name what is going on is important. For Bea, even though we had taught her about her body and her disabilities and there was a good understanding, Bea still felt broken.
16, it's when I realised I didn't feel romantic attraction like everyone else. And because it's such a huge thing in the media and society and everything, I thought I was broken because I couldn't feel it.
My eldest son told the family that he was gay, and then Francesca also told the family that she belonged to the gay community. So Bea started looking up different things to have a better understanding of her own feelings. And what Bea discovered was that there was a name for the things that she was feeling. There was a name for their identity. My understanding is Bea is a grey aromantic demigirl, which means the preference is for me to say Bea, and the pronouns are they and them, which I really struggle with, not because I don't want to. Bea is my daughter and that's the end of that. It's the terminology and getting my tongue around it.
Earrings, they're so
Gay
cool.
earrings, just say gay earrings.
Yeah, they're like basically made by lesbians.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I so want them.
But I think we've basically taken it all in stride. I think she's delightful. She's had to overcome many challenges and she's done really well.
Bea said, I don't feel so broken. I have a name. I'm not broken, it's just different. And that was huge for her. Good for mental health too. Oh yeah. Francis and I, we believe that God gives us grace, but didn't say it was going to be easy.
No, it's not.
No. I'd be in the home for the bewildered if I didn't have my faith. It really grounds us, gives us somewhere to start from and somewhere to fall back to.
I don't understand it, but I mean, you can explain it.
Yeah.
Do you still get anxious about like correcting people with your pronouns and things like that?
Yes, especially if it's old people or just men or white people. It's important for me as a queer and disabled person to be seen because we don't have nearly enough visibility or representation as we should. My sister, she's very supportive and listens to me. By her accepting me and letting me talk to her about it, it really did help. Our queerness also helped us bring us together.
Trans people, but that does not mean they're accepting of non-binary people. It is very...
Yeah, and I know that people don't think that that sort of hate is prevalent anymore, but any time you go into a new workplace or a new friend group, you kind of have to just keep it on the down low until you know that they're okay with it.
You also really have to look for the signs, like what words are they using?
Like, I don't have to mention that I'm bi, but you can't really hide that your name is Bea and you don't want to use those certain pronouns.
Because, I mean, I can use she, her pronouns, but when it's excessive and only those things, it does hurt and it doesn't feel right. I either try to correct them very subtly or I just don't because I don't want to risk it, you know? You just got to educate people.
Benji, wait. Come on. You gonna shut the gate? When I was pregnant with B, the doctor told me she wasn't compatible with life. We prayed and we decided, regardless of the outcome or what anybody else was saying, we would just continue. A new friend. Hello. Oops. Come on. As the parent of a disabled, you learn that you don't know how much you're capable of until you're really stretched. And it is a full-time job for me. I have a whole lot I've got to keep up with. And we've got a few other things to sort out for B. We've got a specialist coming up. What that means is that even though I have a husband and he has a wife, there's not a lot of time for us to spend being a married couple. We have to actually have dates. We do make dates. Well, I think B would like to go and say goodbye to Joseph. We would go for a walk down by the river with the dog. We might get a coffee in town. We might just sit out on the patio together, having a coffee and talking, reading together. We used to make a rule on our dates, no talking about the family. Never works. We always talk about the kids, always. You just do.
Just have a seat, ladies. So we thought we'd have a meeting today just to see how everything's going. And so, B, you know the How's It Going form. We thought we'd go through that just so we can touch base and see how things are going for you and how we...
Being disabled does not mean that you don't have wants and desires. So B has joined CCS Disability Action, and the whole role of Disability Action is to get funding for the disabled. B has things that B believes need to be heard. I feel part of my community. It might be, can you access the disabled toilets? Can you access the shops? Do you feel safe enough to be able to go and talk to the gay community? We are working on enabling good lives, which is all about the disabled being able to make decisions. No, I know. There are limits on that, but it shouldn't be absent. B needs to be able to decide, yes, I want to go to that shop. No, I don't want to wear that outfit. I have my own ideas and desires.
For me, I would like to see change in the parking spaces because there's either too little or they're too far away from the actual shop. There's also not a lot of ramps to certain things.
I started writing this book about 3 years ago. It is a bit of a passion of mine, just because as the parent of a disabled, I know how lonely and hard it can be. I've titled it Not Your Normal because when I came home with my baby and my baby wasn't normal, other people would often draw comparisons and they would become quite negative. And that continued even until today. Never stop learning. You know, you go through so many stages when you're a disabled person and when you're the parent of a disabled person. And every stage is so different. We've already come to that stage where he's no longer in school. So do I push for going into NMIT, or is there something else that B should be doing? Power of attorney. What happens when Francis and I die? Every few years we go through another stage that we have to really think seriously about for B. So I will keep writing until somebody publishes it and takes it on board. Hi, Paul.
Hey, B. Hey, Elizabeth. How's it going?
Good.
I met Paul Tobin through CCS.
Today we're going to be doing a little bit of video critiquing. which should be fun.
Paul Tobin works for Weta Workshop. B was already doing these amazing artworks, and Paul said, my wife and I would really love to mentor you, B, because we think you've got something there.
I thought it might be quite nice just to hear from you first around some of the ideas that you had for this particular piece, because that's important in terms of how I sort of approach some of the ideas I've got.
So the first one I sent you, it's of the character I made, Ivy. She represents all like the medical things and disabilities, mental health things. Because I've been, taking medicine my whole life, I decided to, draw pills in her skin to represent that.
I'll bring it up so we can talk to it directly.
He's advised B what kind of computer she needs, what kind of apps, the areas that she needs to develop in, where she's doing really well.
Just talking from a character design perspective, yeah, it's really, really cool how you've managed to, get these quite subtle pill shapes into the design. I think the ones on the ears are really effective, actually. If you want to experiment with using colour a bit more to make it a bit more emotional, you could introduce a cooler colour, which might
People have asked for the drawings and to pay for them, even though we do want to go there eventually, not at this stage.
What to do and how to improve on it. I guess I want to do it as a job now, but I still got quite a bit to learn.
B's future, that's something that B needs to be deciding on. It may be there are some things that she can't choose, but for as far as possible, B's in charge. It's a different future to what most people would expect, and some would see that as a negative. But because B has to earn everything and work hard for everything, that's not how we view it. Every success is a success, and we celebrate in that. B is able to make her own wardrobe. B is able to create her own environment in her room where B is in charge. That's the stuff you focus on. That's the stuff you take to the bank. So that's what we're doing.
Even if it's tough, you kind of do just have to keep trying. I just do what makes me happy, and if people do things that make them happy and it's not hurting them or anyone else, then I'll allow it.